We were talking about the New York Public Library website. I wanted to highlight how you can find events and classes and groups on the New York Public Library website. There's also a New York Public Library app, but I actually found this particular information easier to access on the website as opposed to the app. The New York Public Library website. There's many things on the New York Public Library website, but today we're going to be focused on finding classes, groups, and events. We'll look at a couple of the other features as well as the front homepage so you can see what's on there, but we're going to focus mostly on events. And you should probably recognize the logo on the left as the New York Public Library lion. Whenever you see that logo, you can assume that you are in the app or on the website, so look out for that lion. The New York Public Library hosts many free public programs every year at its 92 locations. Among those things, the kind of events they host are really reliably weekly English language learning groups. They have arts and crafts meetups and classes, online classes of all types that you can access from anywhere, computer training, both online and in person. They do, of course, children's programs and story times, reading groups for adults, teens, and children, and then classes for people with disabilities, especially that focus on using adaptive technology if you have a disability, which I think can be really helpful. And then a lot more. This is just a sampling of what they have available. We're going to start from the beginning. We're going to practice some of our skills at the same time that we're looking at this particular website. The first thing you're going to want to do is open whatever app you use on your phone to access the internet. For a lot of you, it's going to be Google Chrome right here. Seems to be the most popular one. It might be Safari if you're on an iPhone. It might just be something that says internet. So however it is that you access the internet on your phone, go ahead and open that now. So I'm going to just show you mine. Google Chrome down here. I'm going to click on it and it's going to go to my home page, which is the Smart page. So just take a moment to find that app on your phone and go ahead and open that up so you have a new window, whatever your personal homepage is. Once you've opened it, you're going to go to the address bar at the top of the window and you're going to type in www.nypl.org. So I'll show you on the right here. So NYPL, New York Public Library.org. And this is the page you should land on. It should look like that. Let me play that one more time. Again, and remember, that's your address bar. You can search in there, but it's a search bar and an address bar together. So you could either search for a term or you could type in an address like we just did. And here we are on the front page. Here we are on the New York Public Library homepage. You scroll down on this and there's tons and tons of things. Just to highlight some things, celebrations of National Poetry Month, our Get Lit Book Club, the Poetry Lovers, it's very poetry heavy this month, which I like, but exhibits, you see after school programming, income tax help, all sorts of things. So you can scroll down on here and look for whatever it is that, might be interesting to you among highlighted programs or categories. If you scroll down long enough, you will actually get to the place where it says events and classes for all ages, but I'll show you a quicker way to get to this particular menu too. Start your research, ebooks, how to check out ebooks online. We did that a couple of years ago. It's still a little bit complicated. I think it's a little bit different than the last time we talked about it. But for right now, that's the front page and you can click on whatever part of this interests you. So that's one way of getting into what's going on the website. Let's talk about the languages that you can translate this into. So as with most, if not all websites, especially in Google Chrome and I think in Safari as well, you should see 3 dots at the top here and you should have Google Translate or some translation that's built into your browser there. If it's Google Chrome, you'll have Google Translate in there. And what you can do is click on those 3 dots, not the 3 lines at the top of the window itself, but the 3 dots up here, and go to Translate. And it automatically translated mine to Spanish just because that was the last language that I translated it to or from. It translates to a language that you've recently used, but it's not the language you want it to translate to. You're just going to click on this gear and it'll give you the option to translate to more languages. So I have Chinese on here too. So I went ahead and did that, but that's how you would select a new one. And then you can say undo if you want to go back to it being just in English. But once you do that for the front page of the New York Public Library website, all the pages that you go to within the website itself. So like when you go to search for something or when you click on one of those links, those pages will be translated as well. So that's just a good trick for this website and any website that you want to translate. Like I said, I think just about every website should work with that. There may be some exceptions, but many will. We're going to focus on finding classes, groups, and events that are sponsored by the New York Public Library. So this is the shortcut to get there. We're going to click on those 3 lines up here and go to events. And then you'll see the NYPL events calendar. Let me do that again. It was kind of quick. So up here, the 3 lines, event, and that gets you to the New York Public Library events calendar. And that is exactly what you want to click on, that NYPL events calendar right here. So what you will see here is a search bar, like a bunch of categories you can search. I want to point out that if you just scroll down, there are 7,716 events listed in the New York Public Library system. So there's a lot to choose from. It's good to do searches here based on your particular interests or whether you're trying to access online classes or in-person classes. But if you just scroll straight down past some of those search terms, you'll see all the events that are happening today. They're in chronological order if you scroll down, which may be helpful to you, but it might be more helpful to know like the location of something or what kind of programming it is. But if you just want to see everything that's going on today, you can scroll down past those search terms. And it's very up to the minute. For some of these, you'll see that online registration is closed. I think it was because it was just like the event itself had already started. So you won't run into that too much if you're ahead by more than a couple hours. So let's do a search. It's more likely that we would want to search by a certain location or kind of programming. So I'm going to do a narrow search here, something pretty specific. So what we want to look for is classes and workshops for adults at the 96th Street Library. I want to look for classes and workshops for adults at the 96th Street Library. In order to do that, I'm going to uncheck teens and children here. So I just have adults. And then I'm going to uncheck the Bronx and Staten Island because I just want Manhattan, which is where the 96th Street location is, but that'll be in the dropdown. So location, I'm going to say 96th Street. And event type, I'm going to say classes and workshops. And then I'm going to go down here and hit refine. And by hitting refine, that's searching for those specific parameters. What we come across here is that the 96th Street has a weekly craft circle for adults and older adults. You'll see on there the audiences. So this is what comes up weekly on Wednesdays. The craft circle at 2:30 at the 96th Street Library location. It's in person. You can show up. They have materials. It's for adults and adults age 50 plus. So if you see adults and then 50 plus on there, it doesn't mean it's just seniors. It's adults and adults 50 plus. The categories on there could be teen, they could be children, they could be adults, they could be adults 50 plus, they could be English language learners. There's a number of different audiences there. But if we keep scrolling down, we would see that this craft circle meets every week and you can just show up, no registration required. So that's a very specific search we could do if we're looking for a specific kind of programming. And then we might want to go back and do a different kind of search. So we did that, we found our craft circle, but we want to go back and look at something else. I just want to show you this one feature because it can get really confusing if you don't know that you need to clear the filters that you put on your search. So when we said adults, when we said 96th Street, those are all filters. We wanted to narrow it down to those specific locations, those specific audiences. But if we want to go back and do a completely new search, we're going to go back to that main search. So hit the back button here and you'll see something down here. These are the things we searched by. But you'll see something that says clear all filters. That's what you want to do if you want to start a brand new search with none of the other specifications on it. If you're not getting results to something, make sure you hit that clear all filters so you check and see that it's there and say clear all filters. And that'll get you back to a fresh, no stipulations yet search box. So clear all filters, just remember that, especially if you're not getting the results you imagine you would. There's also a way to do a keyword search. You can go down here where it says keyword. So that's that main search page. And I'm going to say book club. Let's say I'm interested in any sort of book club. I'm not going to narrow it down any further. I'll just say search. I'm going to scroll down and we'll see the March Book Club, a book discussion group, which is an in-person program. There's a whole bunch of different things to choose from here. And again, if you wanted to further narrow this down by location, borough, audience, any of that, you could do that as well. But that was just the broader search for a book club. There's also a really specific place that you can click to see only online classes. So these are all offered on Zoom or another online platform. But you want to click here where it says discover our array of free online events. And if you scroll down, you'll see again all the listings for this. And location again is not going to be that particular here because you can join from anywhere. The one thing that you do want to look out on these is that a lot of them have online registration. So you need to register for the class or the event beforehand, and they'll send you a link for it. And you'll see too, like if you're interested in arts and crafts workshops, you can do that virtually as well. There are really broad range of online offerings, not just ones that are related to technology. So I encourage you to check those out, especially if you're maybe not as likely to go to a branch for an event, but you still have access to this really wide array of online events and ongoing groups and classes. So it's not just one-time things. One of the things that in using the website I found particularly helpful was the search feature for series. The library has different event series that are based on a theme. I found this to be particularly helpful when looking for things that were specifically about language or were delivered in a language other than English. So I just wanted to point these out as another way of searching. This one I want to look at is we're going to go down to where it says series on that search. And again, make sure that you've cleared all your filters if you haven't. And I'm going to scroll down to English for speakers of other languages. There's a pretty flourishing English language learning community around the New York Public Library. They have English language speaking groups at a lot of different locations. They're usually identified by like level, so intermediate or advanced. This one's a citizenship preparation test. I'm going to go back. So these are what you'll see a lot of. We Speak NYC programs. They're at a range of different locations. I think they also have them online as well. That's something that you can find in that series. And again, that's all I searched for here was just, I went to series and looked for English for speakers of other languages. And then two others I wanted to highlight. There's one in that series dropdown that's called Heritage Celebration Programming. And what this tends to be is either programming that's in a language other than English and other than Spanish, because Spanish has its own category, or it's something that is very specific to a particular culture, that it is very much celebratory of that culture, and will sometimes also have programming that's in the language associated with that culture. So if you go down to series, scroll down and go to Heritage Celebration Programming right here and hit refine like you do with all those searches, what you'll see is a number of events that are delivered, I believe, in Mandarin. A lot of them are at the Chatham Square Library. There's something about Arab American Heritage Month in here. But if you're looking for anything that is either about a specific community or is in a language other than English or Spanish, this is a good place to check it out. And then if you're looking for Spanish language programming, same thing again, go down and go to series and do NYPL in Espanol. And that will show you a bunch of programming of all kinds that's delivered in Spanish. Some of it is technology training. Some of it is, it's just about everything they do, just identifying the things that are offered in Spanish, the classes in particular. And when you look up some of those, you might find things for Spanish language and Spanish language learners. So groups where people are practicing their Spanish who are not original speakers of Spanish. So look out for that too, because that can sometimes get mixed in as well. And just to highlight, you've seen this as we've been doing it, but I just want to say each event listing is going to indicate whether it's online or in person. So you see on this computer lab, this one says first line here, it's going to take place in person. Whether registration is required. Again, you might see registration for a lot of those online classes, but it's not as likely to be for the in-person ones. This one, it just says first come, first serve. So show up early. It'll show you the location of the event and also the audience. This could be kids, teens, one of many different audiences, and you can search by that as well. And the one last thing I wanted to show you, the sort of bonus feature here, is if you want to see all locations of the New York Public Library, so all the different branches, you want to find one near you or where you are right now, what you're going to do is scroll all the way up to the top of the screen and click there where it looks like a pin on a map. And once you start scrolling down, you'll see a list of all of the libraries, and they're in alphabetical order. So you can scroll down to the one you want to see, or you can click on any of them just to get to the map, which will show you where all the locations are. You can find your library by searching an address. If you want to put in the address where you currently are or your home, and then search, and you can see what's closest to you. But if you want to just go down, I wanted to go to the 96th Street one. So I just scrolled down to 96th Street and clicked view on map. You can also get directions. You see the hours, the contact information, and we see that it's 96th and Park Avenue. So you can do that with any of the branches. I was really impressed by sort of the range of resources that you could find on the New York Public Library website for in-person and online events.